Fiverr is dead, and that means it's time for a change. Now, to clarify what I mean, on average, I'd be making around $5,000 a week from this platform alone. However, right now it's around 5 p.m. on a Wednesday, and so far this week, I've made approximately $800, which is not great. Things honestly have been super quiet, and for 2 or 3 days in a month, that can actually be kind of normal. But my last decent order was on Saturday for $1,000, and since then, very little has happened. There's been virtually no new messages, no new orders, and even my repeat clients have been super quiet. But what if I told you that this quiet period is actually a great opportunity to change things up? As there are things that you can do right now if you're in the same situation as me to turn your Fiverr gig around and start getting clients. Therefore, in this two-part series, I'm going to be breaking down and showing you exactly what to do when your Fiverr gig goes, well, silent, so that you can stop stressing and start selling. And if you're not subscribed, then I suggest you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on part 2 when it's released. Now, before we start reaching out to clients or trying to promote your gig, let's take a step back and make sure that your gig is actually worth clicking on. Now, if your gig isn't optimized properly, it doesn't matter how many people are going to see it because no one will order. And I literally just finished a gig audit call with another Fiverr seller that focuses on creating Shopify websites for clients. And one of the things that I asked him was, why is he any different to the other 31,000 freelancers in his niche? Because the fact is, you need to stand out, not blend in. And generally, that's mainly accomplished through your branding and the way that you operate your freelance business, which is definitely something that we're going to be talking about. And just to show you exactly what I mean, this is his niche. And if we scroll down the first page, just tell me right now, do any of these thumbnails really jump out to you? And would you click on any? For me, I wouldn't. They all generally blend in. Now, the common mistakes that could be holding you back are things that we're going to go deeper into in part 2 of this series. And they're going to be your thumbnail, your titles, your generic gig descriptions, the pricing strategy you're using, and the lack of strong keywords. Now, regarding poor thumbnails, you need to understand that your thumbnail is the first impression buyers get of your service. And if it looks unprofessional, cluttered, or just downright low quality, they're going to scroll past you and instead choose one of the other 51 options on that search page. And yes, I counted them. There are 52 freelancers on each page in total. So look at your thumbnail again. Now, seriously, and honestly ask yourself, is your thumbnail designed well enough to compete with 51 other Fiverr sellers? Remember, Fiverr is visual, so make sure your gig images are clean, high resolution, and designed to grab attention. Next up are the unclear titles. Now, if your gig title isn't clear, buyers may hesitate to click on it. Because, okay, the truth is, your title should be heavily reliant on keywords. But with that being said, it should still make sense. Then there are generic weak descriptions, which you probably got ChatGPT to create for you. And that's not a bad thing, but you're probably still doing that wrong, and using a better prompt, which I'll show you in part 2, will completely fix this. And by the way, this is what I mean by bad description. Let's just pick somebody at random and scroll down to the description. Okay, this is a perfect example. Turn your Shopify dreams into reality. Ever dreamed of owning your own online store? Making money from anywhere in the world? It's not just a dream, it's within reach with us, your Shopify dropshipping experts. So, straight away, we've got a whole paragraph of generic speech. There's no results here. We're not talking about any kind of results. This generic speech is something that everybody does. And of course, your chat GPT description is exactly what's, supplying this to you. But it's not good enough. When a client clicks on here, turn your Shopify dreams into reality. Ever dreamt of owning your own online store? No, these clients haven't probably. They come to Fiverr because they already know about online stores. They just want somebody to build it for them. It's not that they're sitting there thinking, I have a dream. Let's build an online store. Hey, where can I get this done? Fiverr. If they're having a dream for the first time about building an online store, then they probably don't know Fiverr even exists. Okay. So, this whole generic speech of trying to paint this picture, it's the wrong way to go. And we're going to discuss that in more detail later. But in general, your description should be focused on what service you offer, what makes you unique, why they should choose you over all of the others, and finish with a strong call to action. Also, your wrong pricing strategy is going to play a huge part in getting orders. Now, if you're new, pricing your gig too high will scare buyers away, unless you have a good portfolio that's easily visible to back up your pricing. And too cheap signals low quality. And lastly, the lack of strong keywords. Now, you might think the keywords you're using are strong, but have you actually done the research to make sure they are keywords that are being searched for? All right, so I've just kind of glossed over the first step pretty quickly because this is all going to be what I'm going to be speaking about in part 2 of this video series. However, if you want to pause this video now real quick and do a fast self-audit on your gig, then go for it. And if any of these issues sound familiar, just make sure to make a note so that you can start fixing them after this video. Now, let's talk active strategies, meaning things that you can do right now to start getting orders. So the first is, if you're in a position where your Fiverr inbox is pretty full with messages from potential clients that contacted you in the past, then the first thing I'd do is go through those messages one by one and reach back out to all of them. Whether they were interested before but never actually ordered, or you've already completed projects for them and want to see if maybe they have some more work coming up. Reaching back out and reminding them that you are still alive, or in some cases, chasing them up to see if they actually want to finalize placing the order with you is a great way to dig up some work. Now, this is something I normally do at least 1 to 2 times per week. And for example, if a client is keen, I send them the offer, but they never actually accept the offer, then the next day you should be chasing them. Don't just accept it for what it is, as you've already put in so much of the groundwork and effort to get to this point in back and forth messages that giving up on the final hurdle, well, that's pretty stupid. Next up is something so many sellers ignore, and that's buyer requests, or now they're known as buyer briefs. But this can honestly work really well for new sellers. Now, it gives you the opportunity to reach out to buyers and present yourself by directly messaging them. Therefore, if you can put a decent proposal together, then you stand a good chance of the client choosing you. Now, I'd always recommend checking the buyer briefs daily for new ones and send personalized responses to each one that fits within your abilities. But remember to avoid generic messages, as if you really want to stand out, you need to show the client that you actually took the time to read their request. Now, if your gig is eligible, which you'll find some gigs won't be based on your seller level and the amount of reviews you have on that gig, you can turn on promoted gigs using the Fiverr Ads tab. Since they introduced this, I've literally always used it, and the return I'm getting is pretty decent. So let's just have a little look. So right now, this month, I've spent $433 and I've made $1,095. Now, my daily budget right now is at $50. I only just recently increased this. I always, and if you go back to some of my previous videos, you'll see that I've never ever gone above $15. But I wanted to experiment and I increased this just a couple of days ago to see if it would actually make a difference or not. So if we look back, let's go this year so far. We've spent almost $1,000 and we've made $2,700. Now, it's okay, it's not fantastic. This used to be so much better. But I kind of believe now that so many other people are promoting their gigs that this whole promoted gig or Fiverr ads isn't as good as it used to be. However, still, it's making me money. And generally what I would do is I would scroll down here. So if we go back to, for example, this month, I would scroll down here and see my spend and sales. So for example, this one here, I've spent $121 so far. I've made $400. Okay, not bad. This one, $13 this month. That's why I turned it off. Another one here, $90, 245. This one, for example, probably is not exactly worth it, and maybe I should turn this one off. So it's a case of just always monitoring these. As we can see, this one here, I spent $26 and made 0. So this is one that we can now turn off. I'm not going to keep wasting money on it. But as you can see, I have normally everything set to auto. And to be completely honest, I will probably take this back down to $20. Because at $50, it hasn't really done much for me over the last couple of days. Now, this is a pretty good way to boost your visibility, as 20 of the gigs on each search page are actually promoting gigs, where the sellers are paying to have Fiverr run their gigs as ads. Now, if you do have good reviews and a strong gig, this can be a game changer. But if you don't have good reviews or a strong gig, honestly, you're just wasting your money. And if orders are still not picking up, sometimes a simple pricing adjustment can help just to get things moving again. So test lower pricing, only for a limited time to attract buyers and build up your reviews. Now, once you have a strong profile, you can raise your rates again. This can also be done through Fiverr's marketing tools by offering a 5 or 10% discount to new buyers across selected gigs. However, customers will only see this benefit once they click onto your gig. Whereas if you lower your basic price, then customers will notice this on the search page, and it should push them to click on your gig more. Now, all of these strategies are great, and they're the exact same ones that I'd follow, but they're also the exact same ones every other freelancer on Fiverr will also follow. But one place where you can be different is outside of the Fiverr platform, and this is step number 3. Building a personal brand for yourself is invaluable if you want to take your freelance business seriously. And if you do, then it all starts by leveraging social media. Think of Fiverr like any other business. You need marketing, right? The more people who see your gig or know what you specialize in, the more chances you have of getting sales. And social media is a great place where you have the ability to paint yourself the picture of being the expert in this industry. And this can be achieved by just providing value and helping solve people's problems. Your social media presence is all a part of how you brand yourself. So pick the platforms that you want to use and start being consistent on them. First of all, build yourself a presence, after which you have the option to do some more active outreach by finding businesses or entrepreneurs who need your service. Then you can either direct them to your Fiverr gigs or lead them through your own sales funnel. And if you focus on sending out 10 DMs a day to potential clients, that's 300 a month. And if only 5% take you up on your offer, that's still 15 new clients. But really, one of the best ways to attract buyers is by creating content that shows your expertise. And this just allows clients to see that, yes, they're picking the right guy or girl for the job. So, all right, a quick recap of part 1. If you're not getting orders on Fiverr, don't just sit and wait, be proactive. 1, do a self-check to make sure that your gig is optimized. 2, use Fiverr's built-in tools like buyer requests and promoted gigs. Even consider a better pricing strategy. 3, start taking matters into your own hands by marketing your services off-platform. Now, in the next video, we're going to go deep into actually optimizing your Fiverr gig the right way. So make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss it.